In this presentation, we will continue on with our comprehensive problem related to a not-for-profit organization. In prior presentations, we entered the transactions, we posted those transactions, we recorded the closing entries, and then we recorded or created the financial statements, those including the statement of financial position, which is similar to the balance sheet, the statement of activities, like the income statement, the statement of cash flows. Now, when we considered, or when we created in particular, the statement of activities, you'll recall that we made those with regards to the grouping in the expense category of public health, community services, management, and fundraising. We broke that out in the prior presentation from the expense categories by category. Now, we want a separate schedule to break this information out in more detail by actual expense category. In other words, you'll recall as we went through the problem, we recorded the transactions to this trial balance up top in column 1, and we recorded all the expenses, and we recorded the expenses as expense category that we would typically do, the normal process we would typically do. Then we allocated out those expenses to the public health education, community services, management and general, and to fundraising in accordance with this allocation so that we can have the grouping in this format. And we then, in the second trial balance we created, then we made this allocation, this transaction that reallocates all the expenses to these category groupings. This then is the trial balance we used, these category groupings instead of the normal expense category groupings, to make our income statement type of account the statement of activities. Now we want to add the more detail, which in essence is going to be like this worksheet we made up top. We're basically going to recreate this worksheet so that we show more detail, that detail breaking out the expenses by expense account and by the public health, community services, management and general, and the fundraising. That's what we'll do now. And so we're going to have the added information down here. This is what it's going to look like. We've got the reporting of expenses by nature and function. We have the program services, and then we have the support services. These are the programs that we have. We've got the public health and education, community services. Those are going to be the two programs that we have been recording for or breaking out to. And then we have the support, which includes general or the management and general. It's kind of like the general and administrative for a for-profit organization, the maintenance or the fund or the maintenance of the organization, and then fundraising type of activities. So again, we've already done this breakout. We've done this breakout in order to enter this information by category of these categories. So we've done that breakout up top, up here. So we're basically just going to do this same schedule, recalculate the same schedule. This schedule, you'll recall, took all the expense accounts, broke them out in accordance with these percentages. We're gonna just recreate this schedule. So I'm gonna scroll back down, and I'm just gonna say this is gonna be equal to, and I'm gonna scroll all the way up, and we're just gonna pick up line by line from this schedule. So we're gonna pick up the rent and expense, or the rent expense. I'm gonna say enter, and then I'm gonna autofill all the way down, which will pick up salaries, telephone, printing, utilities, supplies, provisions, and the depreciation. So enter, and then let's do our autofill. We're going to click on this item, autofill down. So auto drives it down. Dr. Phil does the calculation for the autofill. And then we're going to say total. There's the total. And then we'll do the same thing for the amounts. So we're just going to pick up the same amounts from our table, equals. I'm going to scroll back up top. We're going to pick up those same amounts from our table up top. So here we are at the 14,320. Once again, I'm going to say enter, and then I'm going to autofill all the way down. So pick up all these numbers. So remember those numbers, enter, and then we'll autofill all the way down. Not to the total, I'll retotal it up. Okay, and then we'll do the same for the other columns as well. We're going to say this is equal for the community services. Scrolling back up to our schedule, community services, I'm going to say enter, then autofill all the way down. Enter. Click back on it, autofill all the way down. Same thing here. We're going to say equals, scroll back up, and we'll pick up the 7,160 and enter. click on it, and then autofill all the way down. One more time, equals, and we'll scroll all the way up. And we'll pick up the 7160 once again. Click on that and autofill all the way down. So autofill all the way down there. Okay, and so now we can enter our totals once again. So let's do the totals this way first. So I'll do the totals this way. We're going to say equals the sum of all this row and enter. We'll autofill that down. So I'll click on that and we'll autofill that down. Now, I don't like filling it all the way to the total. I'd rather have this totaled up this way, vertically, rather than horizontally. So now we'll total them up vertically, equals the sum of the vertical totals, equals these items, and enter. And we can autofill that all the way across, like so. And so there we have it. So this is going to be added schedule that gives us that added detail, the breaking out by expenses, so that when we give the statement of activities, it's not so convoluted in this case. If you do it in this format, is one of the options that we have to format this information. If we format this information by the expense categories of public health, community services, management, and fundraising, then we're going to need that more information that breaks it out by the traditional kind of expense categories, and we're going to need a schedule that is going to look something like this, reporting of expenses by nature and function.